Hey traders, let's do a weekly kind of outlook and mark up some fresh levels. And with this video, you guys will be able to see obviously the levels for the week, but how I mark them up from a fresh chart and find what context we will need for the upcoming week. All right, so I'm going to be focusing on the price action that we had from here, but we'll start at the weekly and maybe the monthly too, see how the monthly is shaping up. So currently, let's take a look at the entire move of what's happened this month. Currently able to keep price action, even though we did have this really big move down, currently able to keep the price action above the 50% level. I'm looking at that as not necessarily a sign of anything just yet. It's just nice to know to just give us a little bit more context that as much as we'd like to potentially say we're, bullish or bearish, currently we're able to, stay above this 50% level. And then let's kind of keep the fibs up and start moving up in time frames, or down in time frames, I should say. So we have this here. Move this over so it's easier to do. So currently with the weeks we had, this is currently the month of April so far. This big candle down, this big candle up, and then an inside candle. So last week didn't really give us much context as far as what the market might want to do coming up, this week. So it would be a good sign if we're able to break the low of the previous week's candle or the high, seeing as we're kind of consolidating, even though we did get this with this specific formation here. I'll zoom in a bit. Even with this specific formation here, we did have this candle was a bearish candle. We had this candle break the low of that. It opened below it. So, and then shot back up. This last week's candle, let's actually just to make this so we can't see it for now. Okay, so we didn't break the high or the low of the previous week's candle. We just simply just stayed within it. And so what we'll be looking for this week is, for me, we're close enough to the top of this last week's candle that if we wanted to, or if we could have broken it, we would have broken it to the upside. Not saying that's a for sure sign we're going to be going down. Just my goal is to get more and more context as we, go along with the month, and as the days go, the weeks go, just get more and more context on what the market wants to do and what it can't do. And that'll just, paint the picture for us. Let's check out the daily now. In the daily, we've been not breaking the highs of the previous days. So as we're marking things out, just realize that the last week we weren't able to break above the high of any single day, any single previous day. So that's a sign that bears are in control, or were in control for that past week. Granted, it was a shortened week with the holiday. That's just more context for us. All right, so let's delete that. Looking at the daily time frame, actually, let's go to the weekly. So looking at the weekly, we're going to remark this level here that we had for the weekly. This level never, broke back above. So for me, a bearish sign is this week close below this level here. You can see here we have a very important level that should definitely be paid attention to. That level. So just looking at this and the amount of volume that would have had to be maintained to hold the market up 2 times, or for 1, 2, 3, basically 6 weeks, the market, pondered if we wanted to go up or down, and held here twice. And then finally we break through. We tried to push back above, we weren't able to. And then at this level, react with a bearish sentiment at this level. Pair that with what we just saw of not being able to break the high of any of the previous days. To me, that's a bearish sign still. So for me, the market's still bearish. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. And this is where we're going to start to get our levels. So just looking at price action and what may be important down here, I'd say we had a push down here. This is the level I'd say we're likely to see some type of push up from. Let's change this to blue. There. So lots of importance at this level here. We simply fine, actually. Let's put it there. So we got a tiny wick that you can barely see right there. And so that's where the importance of really zooming in and trying to be as accurate as possible when finding your levels. It's going to be zooming in to just make sure you're locked in on a level. So that's the level down there, and could have put it here, right, if we didn't zoom in to make sure. But since we did, we know that that's the intersection point. That's the point of the most liquidity for accuracy. So we got a level down there. I see we have a level here where just basically intersect here. We could move it up, you know, to where we got an intersection here, but we won't do that. The reason being is, and this would have been good context too. You can see we have this level. If we had the intersection of this price action here that was happening, we had a break, reject, retest, push up. But since the market has been respecting this level so much, I'm putting more emphasis on this particular level being broken other than this level. Yeah, we had a push up, but it wasn't a significant push. This level here was the last kind of push down to make an effort to sell off. And I want to be able to see what happens at this volume. This was, you know, all this price action here was simply the market consolidating, getting slapped down, just gradually getting slapped down, trying to push down, trying to collect volume, but ultimately just not getting that volume just yet. So once the market closes below this level, that'll give us context to be able to take it potentially down to this level. Like once this level breaks and confirms, it's going to be just a big drop down to the next level because there's nothing in between. We still have this level here. As far as what I see, we could make the level here now just for accuracy. It's basically the same exact level. Got the level from here where these intersect. We had a big push down from here. We also had a big push down from here too. So we do technically have a level here. Still. You know, market tried to find a support here, but tanked. So you got to zoom in. This is where having those bigger screens and the premium products that we have with TradingView and being able to see more information, it's going to come in handy. So we got that level there. Remember, always find the intersection of where those wicks connect at a level. This one's basically it right here. You can see how the market was off of this level. Tried to push above, wasn't able to really maintain much momentum. And remember the two candle above or below. A good sign of a potential fake out. Yes, this did confirm above by staying above, but we weren't able to successfully print 2 consecutive bullish candles above this level. Not one time. So we got bullish, bearish, bullish, bearish. Not consecutive. Then we broke above, we gapped above, closed back below, tried to close above, which we did with a bullish candle. Then we went bearish, bearish. And so this one, you know, was just, you look for those little clues at these levels to say, okay, cool. We're not able to create consecutive candles, even though we see volume going up and wick test and potential stop runs. We're not maintaining any type of bullish momentum above these levels. I'm trying to think if there's any other levels that may be important for us this week. So as far as price action we got, you know, these are the levels. Only other level I would see which may be important up here would be, delete that level up here. I don't see us necessarily, you know, going back up there. We'd have to break above this weekly, which we could. Obviously, anything could happen. But as far as accuracy, if we do get, above this, for me to feel like we're potentially turning bullish, I would need to see the market get above this level and be able to maintain some price action above the 19,892 level. And yeah, so still biased towards the bearish bearish side of the market. That's not to say that, it can't go bullish with some type of positive news, but once we, and this could happen Monday, it could happen any day next week, where we get a break below this level here, this 18,265 level. For me, that's a level to where if the market is able to break below and confirm below, then we'll see, a pretty major drop down to our next level down here at the basically 17,000, you could maybe call it. We got some levels here. We just look for the downside liquidity. So we got some downside or liquidity towards the downside right there. That may react. Doesn't mean that it's going to hold. As we know, the 4-hour levels tend to attract the market. There will be people looking to go long here. There may be some stops here or liquidity there. Doesn't mean that the market will necessarily respect it. We'll have some here. So I would say if we do get a setup, we most likely want to take profit around the 17,000 level. Being as this is a zone, we got this 1960 level is where this zone starts. It would potentially hold. We could see a wick through and then ultimately just end up holding this level. And then as far as the measured move goes, that could still play out that we were talking about. This move is still potentially valid. Don't want us to forget about this. See how accurate we can get this. All right, so the move down, some type of pullback to the roughly the 38. We got to between the 35% and the 38%. Then we had a sell-off. Measured move would say that if we just simply mirror this move here and just take it down to here, we would be roughly at the 16,200 level, which is still something that's very much a possibility. So that's the weekly outlook. We will, obviously put these levels on your charts, just a little deeper dive into how I'm getting levels. Just try to do that as much as possible for you guys. So eventually it just sticks. You guys start to slowly see the market the way that I see it. And we'll get these same levels time after time, get closer and closer to being the same. But that's the outlook for the week. I will see you guys in the morning, and let's make it a great week, guys.